And we are live with the VUCA Fit podcast. I'm Kevin Oldham. Typically, I do the intros, but Jose and I were talking before this, and I got to tell you something. He threw out a topic that sounded like word salad. So I'm going to see if he can say it better than I could have interpreted it. It had a bunch of like buzzwords and stuff. So without further ado, Jose, would you like to tell us what we're going to talk about today, my friend?
We're going to talk about working with habits. That's it. Working to change habits with subtle habits, but we're going to talk about it using self-observation to work with habits. So when we want to work to change certain behaviors, let's say I'm working with a client who wants to change a certain behavior in certain circumstances, whatever it could be. We have to build our ability to self-observe. So we're going to talk about working with habits through self-observation. We're going to talk about what self-observation is, why it's important, how do we practice it, and how do we learn to self-observe. And I think this is going to be useful for you and where you are right now, Kevin Oldham, and for any of our listeners that want to change or develop certain behaviors. Was that a good intro there?
That sounds good. That sounds amazing, actually. I love it. Yeah. I love it. And I don't know what the word salad was that you tried to use to introduce this, but I definitely like work with habits. You like work through habits with self-observation, and I'm like, dude, I'm just going to hit play. So let's go. Or record.
There you go. So let's talk about self-observation.
Self-observation.
Self-observation is the ability to witness yourself. It's basically what it sounds like, self-observing. It's me observing me. It's building that capacity to notice myself. Just to be the witness. Okay. Call it the observer, whatever. And some people don't have this capacity. Sometimes we're not exercising this capacity. We're unconscious.
Right? Makes sense.
So when working with a client that wants to change a habit, we start building this capacity. It's going to build our ability to change habits and behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
But first, let's talk about the different stages of self-observation. The first stage is in retrospective. This is after whatever happened, and you look back and you say, oh, I effed up. Mm-hmm. I didn't like that. Sometimes we don't even notice it until we get feedback, or something changes, and then you realize I effed up.
Right.
I'm going to use an example, real life example for me that I worked on, but it was a road rage. He was fighting on the road. I actually hit somebody's car yesterday. I'm just going to confess here.
Jeez.
I was jogging, and I was coming to a place where I had the right of way, and the guy didn't pay attention to the stop sign, and suddenly I had the car right on top of me. He hit the brakes. I freaked out, and then I was like, dude. And then he kind of was just making it like he didn't do anything bad, okay, pass, whatever. Mm-hmm. Telling me just go. And I slammed his hood with my hand. Bam! I was like,
and then what?
And then I ran.
Nice.
Buto was really fascinating.
You do that in the U.S. and you might get shot, dude.
You could get shot anywhere in the world.
Yeah, in the U.S. you're more likely to get shot.
I heard in Honduras. No, I heard in Honduras you don't honk the horns. But anyways.
Oh, really? Because you might get shot if you honk the horn?
You might get shot and you don't honk the horn. Yeah, it's not bad. But anyways, yes, it was ridiculous. I'm not feeling too bad about it because I felt justified. But it was really fascinating afterwards.
No.
The adrenaline, because that spiked my adrenaline really high.
Sure it did, man.
when you almost hit me, obviously I'm freaked out. I'm on fight mode, and then he acted like a prick. And I slammed his hood, and then I just started jogging off. But after I did that and I was jogging, I felt so pumped. Felt like I could run faster and lighter. I felt like my performance went up. Yeah, because before I was kind of dragging myself along. Before I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of boring. Afterwards, I was like, yeah, like I should get in more fights. No, not really. But anyways, so around road rage. So what happened there was, I started developing myself as a leadership coach. I want to coach leaders. I want to be a coach. I want to help people get better. And then I found myself fighting with people on the road. And there was this kind of insight like, dude, if you're going to be a leadership coach, you can't be going around fighting with people on the. So there's always something that gives us the alert, like this is a behavior you got to change. It could be feedback. Right. It could be somebody telling you you're acting like a prick, or that's not going to work, or it could be your own awareness saying I shouldn't be behaving this way. So go ahead.
Like can I ask a question here? Because some of the stuff is obviously but nobody really slows down to think about it. You talk about having self-awareness. And some people just go through life oblivious. Like they have no self-awareness. They're just on an island by themselves and think the world floats around them. If you don't have self-awareness, none of this stuff's going to matter, basically. It's kind of where I'm seeing.
Well, you justify everything.
Yeah.
You justify it's their fault. That guy's a prick. Yeah, like right. he asked for it. You just justify it instead of saying, no, dude, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. Next time, I hope I can do it better. Mm-hmm. But self-awareness and presence and waking up to who you are is like taking the red pill or the blue pill in the Matrix, man.
Yeah. Hey, I watched that movie this past weekend with my dad and my brother.
Oh, yeah?
The original one.
Once you take it, you can't unsee reality anymore. You're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
It's like now I can see if I've been a prick, if I've been insecure. Like I can see now, shit, maybe it was better not seeing. I don't know. Ignorance is bliss. But anyways, so let's use this behavior as an example, my road rage. There's something that changed because people tell me it's a bad habit or a bad behavior. No, I don't believe in bad behaviors or in bad habits. I believe in behaviors that no longer serve us.
Yeah.
At one point they did, but at some point they've expired. So at some point, fighting with people, the way I was doing it was serving me in some way to survive. It was a survival mechanism or whatever. But now it's like, okay, I can't be doing this. This is not going to be good for my reputation and for my new commitment to be a leadership coach. So I'm going to start self-observing. Because in retrospective, I just got into an issue with somebody, and my kids were in the car that one time. It was at their school. It was at my daughter's nursery school. And I almost got into it with a parent. And once I was driving in the car, my daughter was scared shitless. And I was like, dude, you cannot be doing this. So I'm self-observing. I'm self-observing in retrospective. It's like I already effed up. Right?
Yep.
So I say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. We usually that's not going to change anything. Only to say, okay, I'm never going to do that again. No, because it's a ingrained behavior. So the next time around, and this could be a habit of eating a diet, whatever, you could any behavior.
Anything.
But let's use this as an example. So if I say to myself, I'm not going to do that anymore, a couple of days later, I'm coming out of the bank, some guy almost hits me, but because I was challenging him, because in my mind, the pedestrian has the right of way.
Right.
So I was kind of like, I saw him coming, but I didn't hesitate. I still kept on he's leaning into the street.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew, I was kind of like, I want to see what he does. I want to see if he slows down. And he didn't slow down. So I punched the car. And then he stops and he gets out of the car. This is many years ago. This is like a decade ago. And the guy comes out of the car and, I size him up and I'm like, okay. And I tell him, what's up? And he says, what's up? And that nothing happens. It doesn't scale. Everybody goes their own way. I get back in the car and I'm like, shit, it happened again. like I'm self-observing, but
There's
in
a pattern here.
retrospect,
There's a freaking pattern here, man.
there's a pattern here. I said I was going to do it again,
Yep.
and it's happening
Did it.
again. So I need to be more vigilant. If I'm going to change this, now I got to be more vigilant. I got to be committed to it. If you're not committed to it, it's not going to work. So then
Right.
you might get a reminder, it's called like a tickler. So I'll hang something on my rearview mirror that says, "You shall not fight with anybody on the road." Well, now I got a reminder. And
What is
so
it?
now
What is your tickler? What is your tickler? What is it?
something that I hung on the rearview mirror. It could have been anything. It can be a rock that you put in your ashtray or a sticker. It could be anything. It'd be something that you put on your bracelet. It's like, okay, I am going to change the habit, my behavior, my pattern of fighting on the road with people. And this is going to take work. So I need to be self-observant, and I'm going to wear this to remind me. But this is the behavior that I want to observe. You need a time frame. While I'm on the road, I'm going to observe my tendency to fight with people. All right?
Yep.
So I have a client that's doing this with his wife at the business. He's like, when I'm at work, I treat my wife different than when I'm at home. And I wish I didn't. So now, okay, you're going to self-observe around this. And so it's just building awareness. The interesting thing is that if you pick one behavior to self-observe around, it's going to build your ability to self-observe in general.
Right.
So it's exactly like taking the blue pill or the red pill in the Matrix. You take it, and now it's like, oh, I don't only fight on the street, I also cuss like a sailor in front of people that I shouldn't, like, and you go, and it just starts, oh, and I treat my brother like an asshole, oh, and I do this, oh, and I'm really mean to this person. You will start seeing yourself.
Right.
So that's just, what do you call it? Like, consume with responsibility. So now you have the reminder. So now I'm reminded, and I'm observing, and I'm watching people cut me off. And so then you go from observing in retrospective to observing in the moment. So that's like the next stage. It's like somebody cuts you off, you get triggered, you start chasing them, and now you know that you're triggered, and now you know you're in the behavior, you're in the pattern. You can actually see the pattern in real time. Doesn't mean you can change it yet, because I've been like aware of it, and I'm still like, you're so
But
down
you can't
that
change it.
you are like in it. You're down to like coming back from a pattern. It takes mastery. But you're fully like full throttle. I can see myself angry. I can see myself fighting. I don't care. I'm just going to go through with it. But now you're self-observing in the moment. Like you're aware, I'm doing what I said I shouldn't be doing, and I'm aware that I'm doing it. And for some reason, I'm still doing it. I don't see a way out right now. You with me?
I am.
But now you built awareness around it. Like now you're in, and the more you self-observe, the more things you can start self-observing. Like at first it's just I'm fighting, but then it's like, oh, I'm grabbing the steering wheel in a certain way. My hands are clenched. I'm breathing in a different way. I'm focused on the person. Go ahead.
I have a perfect example of this. I was just talking about it. I went to my dentist today, and she's like, "Hey, do you clench your teeth?" And I said, "Yes, I do. I have they made me a mouth guard to help with my snoring." And I said, "But the good news is I have this mouth guard you guys gave me, so I'm not grinding my teeth." And I said, when I realize I'm doing that, I also realize it's when I'm just like getting ready to fall asleep that the rest of my body is kind of tense as well. And I will literally just go, and I'll breathe again, and I'll just feel like a melting of tension. It's weird. Mm-hmm. It's really, really bizarre. But I've gotten used to it, and I'm like, man, what was happening before that? It wasn't relieving myself of that tension.
Yeah. Well, that's
now that I'm aware of it, and I'm like, oh, this is not that positive for me.
Well, that's actually the next step. The result of self-observation is self-regulation. Mm-hmm. Self-regulation is actually undoing the pattern through breathing, muscle relaxation, changing your focus, attention, breath, and body. Like focus on something else, breathe different. embody yourself different, and you'll undo the pattern. So now you're self-observing in the moment. With practice and with time, you start anticipating. You self-observe in anticipation. So one time I was parked in a parking lot and somebody parked next to me and they were going to open the door to their car, and I was actually vigilant if they hit my car or not. And I caught myself being vigilant of it. I caught myself, dude, you're really focused on it. And this was the funny part. I kind of came to realize, man, Jose, you actually want to fight. Like, there's a part of you right now. There's a part of you right now that wants this person to give you a reason get mad and fight. That's when I was like, oh, man, this is serious.
Yeah.
Like, where did I learn this? And then you start going back. I mean, you learn this when you're a kid. I can go back to, wanting to fight with my brother. Like, we used to share a room, so we used to split it in the middle, and then I would make sure I would see if my brother was cross my side, and I would be vigilant of if he's doing something that he shouldn't, so I could just fight with him. So this is something that you learned probably in the house. Seeing if they ate something of mine in the kitchen, like, did they eat any of my stuff? Did they take my stuff? Did they break my whatever? But so now again, going back, you have a behavior, you pick the behavior, the time frame, the context you're going to observe it in, and then you start observing it in retrospective. You start observing it in real time, and with time, you can start observing it in anticipation. As soon as you get triggered, you already know it's coming. And that's where you can self-regulate through breathing, through focus, through body relaxation. You can change the behavior. You can change the pattern.
Yep.
With practice and with time, it stabilizes. It becomes a new behavior. So now, if you ask me when was the last time I had road rage, except for that little thing yesterday with the guy with the car that almost hit me.
Except for yesterday. I mean, it wasn't road
yesterday.
rage. You were running. You weren't in the car. You were not in the car.
That wasn't road rage. That was pedestrian
Minus
rage.
yesterday. Yesterday aside.
Yesterday aside, I brought my road rage circumstance, like situations, like count from 10 out of 10 to maybe 1 out of 10. To maybe
I would like,
1 out of 20.
there's like a term. There's going to be a term for this. I've already thought about it. There's going to be an official term for this. This is why I'm on the show. Levity. So Jose's road rage. Is road rage 2 words or 1? I wonder. We'll make it 1. JRC. Jose's road rage coefficient. It's gonna be the model that we use to measure how much road rage you have over a 1 year period.
Okay, I like that. Before it was 100 out of 100.
I know, and now it's like still high. Because you blew up yesterday. Yeah.
I got stories on road rage. I had one guy pull a machete on me one time. And the cops showed up, and that was pretty funny because I made him apologize. The cops showed up except, I know this sounds crazy. It sounds nuts. This was a long time ago, guys. This was in another lifetime. But the guy, he ran a red light and almost crashed into my car. And we engaged, and then he stopped. He came out. He brought a machete out. As soon as he brought it out, the cops showed up.
What is there? He brought a machete?
Yeah, he even banged my car with it.
Oh my God!
We should have Jesse not put this on the reels bits.
I don't know, the machete.
But
Yeah.
many
we'll put
words.
that on.
So the guy, as soon as he smacked the back of my truck with it, you heard the little car siren. Boom! And the guy just freaks out. The cops get out and they handcuff him. They arrest him. It's like, this guy's threatening people. He's like, would you like to press charges? So I just look at him with a smirk and I'm like, no, I think a good apology will do it.
How about just a good old fashioned apology? That's
good
amazing.
old, I fucked up. I'm sorry I did that. I'll never do it again. Thank you for letting me go. But anyways,
amazing.
going back, self-observation is a capacity, and it helps us change behaviors. It helps us recognize them, observe them, get to know them, learn from them. You learn from, because you get to look at the pattern. The pattern includes thought. What are my thoughts that are going through my head? The pattern includes body. What's my body doing? It includes emotions, and then it includes the action. So you're observing all of this. We want to gather information so that we can understand the behavior more and more. And then the commitment to actually changing it, because if there's not a strong commitment to doing it differently, like I'm committed to not do this because it's not aligned with who I am, it's gonna get me in trouble. There is a risk to this. It's expired. And then we do the work of observing, which will lead to self-regulation, which is just so self-regulation might look like somebody cutting me off. I immediately know I don't engage with this person. This is not what I do anymore. I relax my body. I change my posture. I breathe different, and I turn my attention to the clouds in the sky instead of focusing on the person. And after 30 seconds, the pattern has dissipated.
That's awesome.
And then it just becomes the new pattern. So again, I have clients working on things from seeing poor performance, when they see poor performance at work, instead of like losing their shit and yelling or whatever, self-observing, or with the relationships or with people around them, or it can be any behavior. Like the self-observation template is choose a behavior, set a reminder, a tickler, something to take you, and then just observe it. Observe, be the observer. We don't even invite you to change it. I don't even say you got to change it. Just for the next week or for the next 2 weeks, observe it, get to know it, understand it. And then that'll give you the freedom to start letting it go and working around it. It's a very powerful way to change habits and behaviors. And then once you start with one behavior, it's a meta competency. In other words, oh, here's another behavior I need to change. Oh, here's another one. Oh, so you just start putting them in the behaviors I need to change category, and you're just working around them, and then you're just this person that's constantly self-observing.
Like on my personal development plan, what actions, thoughts, or practices do you need to stop cultivating?
Yeah.
Keep it on my desk, Jose. Keep it on my desk.
Yeah. And just for everybody out there, I'm not fighting with people on the road. That's in the past.
Stupid. That was yesterday. That's in the past. As in like 24 hours ago, Jose. I feel like this is confession. I feel like this is it different? I mean, is it? Let's just be honest. Because you don't have a car, is it different? You're still raging. You're still hitting things. You're still exposing yourself to danger. You're still susceptible to having a dude with a machete come after you. I mean, let's just stop bullshitting yourself.
You're right.
It's just a different format, but you still blew a gasket. And I understand I would have done the same thing. But it's important to self-observe. Right?
Yes, you're right. And yes.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm glad nothing happened, because I was thinking.
Yeah, me too, dude.
I was thinking, what if that person knows me? What if they?
Yeah. What if they? Yeah.
I just started thinking, what if I get a call right now from something that I have on my calendar, and they say, we don't want to work with you anymore because
you're an asshole.
Because you're Well,
I have to think about that all the time. I've been doing that for a decade. It's like I can't take a stance publicly on anything, right? Nor should I. And when you're just out in the public, when you're a business owner and you start to impact your local community, you're going to see people that you don't know you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't know them, but they know you. They might know you from fill in the blank or whatever. And it's like, man, I got to be on my best behavior. This is why I always joke that I don't leave the house.
Yep.
Try not to leave the house.
But you're right. And you're right. It wasn't, I wish I could have let it go. The guy was a prick, though. The guy was a prick.
He wasn't a prick with a machete.
I'm not going to justify it. It should be different. No, it could be different. I want it to be different. Yep. I want it to be different. But it was a very hard circumstance, because I had just gotten scared the crap out of me by a car that hit me. And then the guy was acting like, okay, just move, bro. Like, whatever. Okay, just go. I'm like, what? At least get down and apologize, you little bat.
Oh my gosh, Jose.
And I'm boxing, so I don't want him to get down.
Yeah, I do. I wish I could get back to. I tried to. It's funny. You don't think of boxing as something that twists your knees, but it really does if you're doing it right. Your right cross. I mean, you're torquing that knee. And so I was hitting the bag in our basement. I realized that that's not something I'm supposed to do yet.
Yeah.
My surgery recovery. So
you got to twist the hips, and then got to move the hips. I need to do more movement, but I'm doing all right.
How was your boxing? How was your boxing? You look good on the Facebook, your form and stuff.
Feels good.
Yeah,
I bet. Knuckle therapy.
Yeah. Speaking of knuckle therapy, be careful. Be careful that you don't wind up with one of these. I see you rapping. This is what happens when you get boxer's knuckle if you don't rap appropriately.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, there you go. Was that a wrap, dude?
I think that's a wrap. Just, that's another tool for your toolbox, self-observation. Pick a behavior you want to observe, get a reminder, take notes, observe it, learn, and when you're ready, self-regulate and change it. Practice something different. Here's one last thing I want to say.
Okay.
When we have a behavior like that, we only have one option. Like my only option in the past was to fight. And this can be in any type of situation. When you have a conditioned habitual behavior, it's like that's your only choice because you have no choice.
Right.
It's already been chosen for you. And I love my mentor used to say that. He used to say, when talking about behaviors, did you choose it or did it choose you? If it chose you, that means you don't have power over it. So that when we're able to self-observe and step away from the pattern, like self-regulate, the options of behaviors actually becomes infinite. It's like there's an infinite amount of ways that I can respond now. And every way that I choose is going to produce a new reality.
Mm-hmm.
So by waking up, self-observing, becoming conscious, self-regulating, letting go of our patterns and conditioned way of being, we open up to, like, what's the answer? How should I act? I don't know. Try stuff out.
Yep.
Yeah. So
there we go.
Gives you freedom.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Gives you freedom. Who doesn't want freedom? All right, there we go. 2 asks. Number 1, smash subscribe. Number 2, if you like what we're doing, leave a review. Till next week. We're out.